Fraught with much suspense and controversial adjustments, the Senate finally passes the 2016 budget into law with an unprecedented reduction of 17 billion naira in the budget's total. Well, that's the focus on the program. Thank you for joining in, everyone. I'm Emana Amawe. Let's begin with some of the top political stories this week.
One week ago, he was paraded after the rumor of his death went everywhere in Ekiti State. Honorable Akane Afolabi has now been released by the Department of State Services. He was arrested on March the 4th, 2016, and he's now lying in a hospital bed in one of the private medical centers in the nation's capital, Abuja. The lawmaker, who is said to be under investigation by the DSS over alleged forgery and assault on Justice Jana Adeyeye of the State High Court, is looking frail and now recounts his ordeal and tells us about the state of his health.
You know, I haven't experienced all these things. This is my first time of going to be incarcerated. And this is my first time. I was surprised.
And the All Progressives Congress is making efforts to put its house in order in the light of the barrage of issues surrounding the activities of the party. The President Muhammadu Buhari held a closed-door meeting with the national leaders of the APC and some of the caucus members of the party at the presidential villa. Several serving governors of the party and past state governors were present. Also present were the Senate President Bukola Saraki and the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara, amongst others. The tussle for the governorship seat of Ekiti State continues as the different parties are debating their stance at the election tribunal. The former governor, Captain Idris Wada, is challenging the election of Mr. Yahaya Bello as the governor of the state, and the case has been stalled following objections by the All Progressives Congress and Governor Yahaya Bello. At the proceedings, lawyers to Mr. Wada informed the tribunal of their intention to present some documents which include ballot papers and result sheets used for the election. This was, however, opposed by the lawyers representing the All Progressives Congress and Governor Yahaya Bello on the grounds that the documents need to be scrutinized. And on to the Rivers rerun elections. The People's Democratic Party is calling on the presidency to constitute a panel that will probe the violence that trailed the polls on Saturday. The national chairman of the party, Senator Ali Modu Sheriff, told journalists at a press conference in Abuja that the party is also dissatisfied with the way security agents conducted themselves during the exercise.
We enjoin the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to immediately constitute a panel to carry out a dispassionate investigation.
At another venue, some members of the party's caucus, specifically the PDP caucus in the House of Representatives, are demanding that the Independent National Electoral Commission declare the results of the Rivers State rerun elections that took place over the weekend.
The main issue here is that INEC should release the results of Rivers State in line with the Electoral Act.
And you're up to date. Those are your top political stories you need to know.
Many thanks for staying with us. Well, now to the main matter on the ground. The Senate has passed the 2016 budget with an unprecedented reduction of 17 billion naira in the budget's total. President Muhammadu Buhari had presented a 6.08 trillion naira proposal in December 2015. The Senate, however, passed 6.06 trillion naira after considering its conference report on the fiscal document. Well, according to the Senate's Finance Committee's chairman, John Eno, it was the first time since 1999. This is the first time since 1999 that the National Assembly will approve a figure which is much lower than the proposed one presented by the executive arm of government. The committee's chairman says this reflects the mood of the country and the world in general, and it shows discipline on the part of the National Assembly. The journey to the passage of the 2016 budget has been a contentious one filled with acrimony ever since President Buhari laid it before the joint seating of the National Assembly, it's always raised a sore point for the new administration. While there were initial reports that the budget had gone missing, then subsequent reports said it hadn't gone missing, but it was actually deducted. And then later on, there were reports of it being padded. And eventually, the National Assembly admitted that the budget was filled with inconsistencies. Even some ministers had to disown the budgets of their own ministries. And thereafter, following months of trying to salvage the situation, the National Assembly Appropriation Committee has finally completed work on the fiscal document and presented it before the Senate and the House of Representatives. Well, the Senate committee, Senator Danjuma Goje, who heads the Appropriation Committee, gave the highlights of the budget during its presentation to the Senate. He read out the observations made by the committee on the appropriation bill. The same procedure played out in the House of Representatives. The 2016 budget is now to be sent to the President, Muhammadu Buhari, for his assent. However, Nigerians heave a sigh of relief for the successful transition of this document at the National Assembly, but they say it's one thing for the budget to be approved by the President and yet another one for the executive arm of government to implement the budget as envisaged by the federal lawmakers. Well, let's get down to talking more on the issues right now. Well, with me in the studio is a lawyer and policy analyst, Curtis Adigba. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure. Yeah.
And also in Abuja studios, Senator Shehu Sani joins the conversation. Many thanks for joining in, distinguished.
Good day. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Curtis, let me start with you.
Yeah.
It's almost the end of March. And finally, after much wait, the budget has been passed into law. Does this come as some kind of relief 3 months into the year?
I think so for most Nigerians. And if you watch the events that led to the passing of the budget, it came as a huge relief for most Nigerians. Because if you take the pulse of the country, a lot of people are complaining about the state of our economy, and it looks like everything has standstill. And so now that the budget has been passed, we want to see some activities.
Okay.
Yeah.
An unprecedented reduction. Since 1999, there's been no reduction in the budget. This is the first time 17 billion naira has been reduced. Does it make any difference, 17 billion out of 6 trillion?
If you look at the mood of the nation, the nation is bullish in its mood. And for the first time in this country, we're seeing ordinary citizens taking more than average interest in the passing of a budget or how the budget is passed. In fact, at the point I said to a friend that all Nigerians have become top-class economists because everybody was criticizing the budget, you know, what was wrong with the budget, what wasn't wrong with the budget and all that. And it was unprecedented that Nigerians were showing that kind of interest in the fiscal policy. So it's indeed a welcome development. And what it shows is that